Hi, everybody. Welcome back to FOD Shorts. We're the podcast for the terrestrial radio program on FM station 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk in Long Island, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, known as Freedom on Deck. I'm Chet Martin, joined as always by CV Burton. CV, what's up, my man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I knew we were going to do this podcast tonight. I figured that it was all going to be about the migrant caravan, or as I like to call it, the migrant mob.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into that later. But as you know, that news story is gone. It's yesterday's news. It's in the garbage bin of history, because now we have this situation where the left stream media has pushed this idea or the story forward of Democrats getting pipe bombs sent in the mail. And just to go over a laundry list of some of the people, it started off with George Soros 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly a package was dropped off in his mailbox. We still have no identification of who dropped it off there, which seems awfully fishy to me.
Yep.
Then the following day was Hillary Clinton over in Chappaqua. Supposedly the Secret Service intercepted a package that contained what looked to be a pipe bomb in it. Then the next day it was Barack Obama that was also intercepted by the Secret Service. Mm-hmm. Also, one was sent towards CNN addressed to John Brennan with the return address of Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yeah. And then we also had one supposedly sent to Eric Holder, and I'm just seeing now Maxine Waters, and that's the latest one that I saw, this laundry list of people. Now, all this is very suspect. We've got a very short distance ahead of us till these midterms.
Right, 13 days.
Yeah, so you got 13 days till the midterms, and I just pulled the pictures up, actually, of the bomb that was sent to CNN, and I posted it up on Freedom on Deck if anybody wants to go look. Yeah. And there's a sticker that is, it has the Islamic State flag on it. So if anybody wants to check that out, or if you want to check that out right now, CV, it's on Freedom on Deck's Facebook account. Now, immediately when me and you started to talk about this, you said that this was a false flag.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to wait to get more information, and then I started to look into it more, and it just doesn't smell right. The whole thing is bizarre. It looks like a lot of political theater. It looks like a political football. Yep. It looks like a narrative's being spun in kind of like this Animal Farm way to take away the news stories of the day that actually are helping the Republicans. I think instead of helping the Democrats, which they saw with Kavanaugh and with this migrant caravan, as they like to call it, have gone in the opposite direction.
Right.
So now what I think they've done is, as you said, they were waiting for us to turn violent. We haven't done that, so I think that they feel like that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that hasn't worked out for them. So why not put some fake bombs out there? You'll never get to the truth. The media will never tell you truly who sent these bombs out. Mm-hmm. So this is where I think we're at. Now, I might be wrong. And we might end up finding out that it's some screwball. But for now, I just don't like the smell of this whole thing.
Yeah. I think they have two sets of polls that they use, the DNC. The real polls that they don't let anybody see, and the fake polls that portray the narrative that they want portrayed. And I think over the last couple of days, I've been hearing noises from their camp that they're panicking over the fact that the Kavanaugh thing backfired in their face, the illegal caravan backfired in their face, and I heard that they wanted to take that off the headlines. And then I wake up today and find out that all these, and it's interesting the usage of words describing these bombs, where they said appears to be a pipe bomb or seems to be a pipe bomb. I haven't heard any definitive declaration that they were indeed pipe bombs that will explode or anything that is really dangerous. We've heard of white powder being sent around, and some of the times it's, just, non-toxic baby powder or flour or something of that nature. But
Yeah.
occasionally you find out that it's, it's real ricin. But in this case, it's suspicious that they're not calling them actual bombs. They're calling them what appears to be bombs. And also, you would think that George Soros would have some kind of security camera outside of his house. And also, these houses that receive these bombs, if they were hand-delivered, are like states apart. And it seems like a little bit too much of a jog for somebody to be traveling over state lines, in New York, Washington, D.C., and I don't know where Soros lives, but it just seems like it's more than one person. It seems more or less like a concerted effort, a conspiracy of more than one person.
Well, Soros lives all over the place. He actually lives on Long Island. He has a home on Long Island, but the house that they're talking about where Soros was sent this, or supposedly sent this supposed pipe bomb, was actually very close to Hillary and Bill Clinton. And I didn't know he had a house over there, which is even creepier.
Well, he has houses everywhere.
Yeah, that he lives over by the Clintons, but it doesn't pass the sniff test. I do think that this is being used as an October surprise.
Yeah.
I just don't find it. Everything's really cloudy right now. Like you're saying, they don't have any military experts releasing any information on this.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, George Soros was, 2 days ago?
Yeah, we didn't hear a word about it until now.
3 days ago. And no, it was, because I remember on our the station that we're heard on, 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk, actually had released a news flash about it on Monday.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
I did hear it, but I was like, wow, that's weird. It was on the news flash on the radio, but I didn't see it on TV, and I really didn't, not that I would watch CNN or any of those channels, but I didn't see it on Fox News, and I said, that's kind of funny that it's not being talked about, and then all of a sudden the news hits with the Clintons, and then all of a sudden it kind of avalanched into Obama and Holder and Maxine Waters
and Cuomo
and Brennan.
The Svashim, Cuomo.
Yeah. And then they use the optics of clearing out Time Warner's building in New York, which is, this is, people need to pay attention and really, really pay attention to what they're doing here, because they could be wagging the dog, so to speak.
Yeah.
To show you, look, it's probably a radical right-wing nut job that Trump has stirred up, because you already see them doing it. They're already saying Trump's rhetoric has been no help. And, this, that, and the other. I've already heard CNN's already pumping that. Why does it – here's my question. If it is somebody from the right, why doesn't CNN hold their breath and wait and find out for sure instead of immediately jumping to that?
Right.
Because if this is a real package and these are real bombs, you don't know who the hell's sending them. It could be ISIS, for God's sakes. Right.
That's exactly what I was just about to say was, isn't it curious how, when – terrorist attacks happened during Obama's administration, he always said, let's not rush to judgment.
Right.
Let's wait until we get the facts. We don't have enough facts yet. The only thing we know for sure is that it's not terror related. They don't know anything, but the only thing they know, it's not connected to any known terrorist cell as far as we know.
Right.
But let's not jump to any conclusions.
Right. We know that we know the guy went back and forth to Afghanistan 3 times.
Yeah.
We know that his name's Ahmed. But it's not a terrorist.
But he might have just forgotten his meds. But in this case, you have Hillary making statements immediately saying this is political against, Democratic, leaders and stuff like that. And de Blasio said this is an attack against Democrat leaders. As far as I remember, Holder is not a leader at this current time, and neither is Obama, unless he let the cat out of the bag and is now admitting that Obama is the president of the deep state.
Yeah, they kind of let it out of the bag, didn't they?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, we just talked about this 2 weeks ago on our program. We were talking about the ricin that was sent in the mail by this one individual who was in the military.
Right.
And who was that sent to again?
I don't
We
know.
know that Ted Cruz had some
Cruz.
sent to his offices, and they were evacuated out of there.
And Trump's family.
And Trump's family, right. So, but that's not terrorism.
No.
And did you hear the media jumping all over that?
Nope, and they never got to the bottom of that one either.
No, we never got to the bottom of it. They gave you the suspect. They said, well, he was at. They actually said that he was a Christian. Remember that? It was in the story. Oh, he's a Christian.
I guess they don't know anything about Christian dogma or doctrine, I meant to say.
And that was the thing. He sent ricin. Now I'm remembering the story. He sent ricin to not only Trump and the Trump administration, but he sent it to Putin, and he sent it to Queen Elizabeth after Trump had met with Queen Elizabeth. And you're telling me that's not political terrorism?
Yeah. It's sort of like they're trying to. It's not sort of like they are trying to counter their bad reputation of being a mob. A mob that harangues people, harasses people, are violent, commits vandalism, chases people out of restaurants, screams and yells on Capitol Hill, tries to destroy his character by making all these lies and accusations against him, and it blew up in their faces, and now they're trying to make it look like, the Republicans are just as bad.
Well, what they're saying is, well, maybe what we've done is out of character, and Antifa is definitely bad. But look, they've got folks sending pipe bombs to us, and that's going to result into I will predict even before the midterms come that it's going to result in more violence towards the right. That's exactly what this is going to do.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they're going to come out with any suspect or anything like that. Because if they don't CV, then that's just the American people have totally been bamboozled.
I know. They might put up some patsy and create like a fake Facebook account and say, yeah, he's a MAGA hat wearing Tea Partier, Trump supporter, Christian, white KKK, nationalist, and meanwhile he's probably going to be a fake.
Oh, the nationalist. Did you hear about all that with Donald Trump and Cuomo on CNN said that that's a racist term?
Yeah, I knew they were going to say that. I knew they were going to say that because they say Hitler was a nationalist. Yeah, but he was also a dictator socialist. And a tyrant.
And he was a socialist.
Right, exactly.
Nationalism can mean many different things. All you have to do is add another, some more terminology to it, and it becomes something totally different.
Yeah.
But nationalism in its bare brass form just means you want what's best for your nation. That's all that it means.
Yep.
That's all nationalism is.
Yep.
If you throw on white nationalist or black nationalist or Muslim nationalist, yeah, you have a problem then.
Mm-hmm. And Hitler took over industries, for the purpose of generating army tanks and weapons for the war. And Obama also took over industries like the health industry and the car industries and the banking industries and everything else. He was trying to take over all the major industries, and he failed.
He came close.
He did get close.
He got close, but if Hillary had been sworn in, then forget it. We definitely would have had all that. And you also, another thing, man, you're telling me some dingbat sent off 6 bombs and not one of them detonated.
Yeah, right. I'm
But
a little nervous about the possibility. You know how they say take one for the team, on the left? I'm afraid that somebody's going to get blown up. Maybe even on the left, just to show, take some
oh god,
collateral damage just to paint the narrative that, see, this wasn't a false flag, this was real.
no,
Yeah, but
no, none of those arrogant bastards are willing to take. When they say take one for the team, they're talking about like an Antifa member.
they may be able to do
They
without
wouldn't, they wouldn't do it to Obama or
No, but
maybe
they might do it to Wasserman Schultz or something because she knows too much anyway, and she's a problem.
They could do it to that woman that wrote that book about Hillary, the black woman there. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue too.
They could blow her up.
Yeah, they probably would want to.
And then it would be, who would really do it? It'd be Hillary. But like
I'm sure she knows the people who are behind this, because I've seen the emails from John Podesta talking about wet works at the vineyard by the pool, which is exactly where Scalise died, and this was like 3 days before Justice Scalise, I can't even say his name anymore, died or was murdered. What's his name?
Right.
Not Scalise,
Scalia.
Scalia, right. I was getting tongue-tied because I was getting him confused with the representative.
Yeah,
who was shot.
Yeah, there's another one. Steve Scalise. That wasn't a terrorist act.
Yeah, he almost was murdered too. Scalise and Scalia.
They actually got him. They actually almost killed Scalise. We can't prove that they killed Scalia, but the pillow was found in a funny position.
Yeah, but that email was very
ominous.
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, that's definitely evidence. It might be circumstantial evidence, but that's hard to explain away.
Well, do you think that this is going to affect the midterms at all?
Nah. I think it's going to be a giant red tidal wave. Tsunami.
I hope so. Don't you think it looks like an act of desperation?
Yeah, I think even the Democrats who, a lot of Democrats, people forget, a lot of Democrats did vote for Trump. A lot of the Democrats, in Pennsylvania and other battleground states during the 2016 election.
Michigan.
Well, yeah, a lot of the districts that went for Obama went for Trump this time around. So a lot of Obama voters voted for Trump. So we have to remember that not all Democrat voters are all nutcases.
They said it was the largest swing like that since Carter and Reagan.
Yeah,
where Reagan had picked up a lot of the swing states.
Yep. They called them blue dog Democrats at that time because the states that went for Republicans were blue at that time, but they flipped them because the left didn't want to be associated with the color red because they were communist and they want to hide that. So they switched the colors, and now the Democrat states are blue and the Republican states are red. So now we can call them red dog Democrats.
Yeah, my parents were blue dog Democrats. They voted for Reagan twice, and then they voted for Bush, and then they voted for Clinton.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure who I think my parents voted for Kerry. Then eventually, my father passed. My mother recently had voted for Trump. So she and now she said
she's on the Trump train.
Yeah, she said she'll never vote Democrat again because of how unhinged it's become. And I think a lot of people around the country have that feeling, and I think they're quiet about it, CV. I think a lot of them, they won't say it on the street. They won't say it on Facebook. They're not going to put a Trump sticker on their car, but when they go in the voting booth, they're going to vote red. And I think in the midterms, I think Donald Trump is doing some really good things. A lot of people said, why did he go to Texas? He doesn't need to go to Texas. That's going to go red. Well, the optics of it was really good. The optics of him going and 100,000 people waiting for him and Ted Cruz, I think looked really good. And I think the president's doing exactly what he should be doing.
Yeah.
And not getting caught up in all this. And he did release a statement about these pipe bombs being sent out, or supposed.
Well, he said all the right things.
Yeah, he had to.
Right.
He can't be like, you know what, guys, I don't know what the hell this is. He can't do that, and we know that he can't do that, and we're just going to have to wait and see what they come up with. Supposedly, law enforcement, FBI, CIA, we trust all those agencies, right? They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't steer us wrong. But unfortunately, we are gonna have to wait on their report and see what happens with all this.
I really hope they catch the real people who are behind this. I really do, and quick before the election. That would be amazing.
Well, I guarantee you, it has a lot to do with Clinton and Obama, but I guarantee you, it's from a third party, so they will never nail it to them.
Yeah.
Because they would have to be insane to do it themselves.
Well, they are insane, so don't hold your breath.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I think it's more like, they have some operatives out there that could do it just as well. And just like you were pointing out these emails that came out where Hillary was communicating with Podesta, and they were communicating in code. They still do that to this day.
Yeah.
So they could do that easily with some emails, and someone could come across those emails and say, "Look at what really happened," and nothing will ever be done about it.
Yeah. Well, the term "wet works" is a known slang for, or code for, murder, because when you murder somebody, the blood runs and it's wet, so it's wet works.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Well. No, I know. Now the eye has been taking off of the prize of this mob that's coming across the southern border. Let's get into that a little bit. Now, this mob has now increased to close to 20,000.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Last estimation was about 7.
No, I've seen other estimations.
No, I mean the last I heard.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard recent.
Yeah, it's coming close to 20,000 now.
Wow.
I believe it's 17,000. Now there's been pictures of semi trucks with flatbeds with people on them being driven in to the mobs so they can also walk with them. There's pictures of porta potties on the side of the road. Yeah. There's pictures of people handing out $100 bills to them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Most of the men look like they're of military age. There's very few children and women.
Uh-huh.
It looks and speaks to me of what happened in Europe, except it's a different type of invader, but still just as dangerous.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that I want to know. Everybody says, well, they're going to have to go to the port of entry. Well, we all know that that's bullshit, because this mob of 17,000 people can easily disband and go to many other porous areas on the border and come in. Anybody with a criminal history, or is a member of MS-13, or God forbid a member of ISIS, which I'm sure there are, wouldn't try to go through a port of entry. They would be insane to do that.
Yeah.
Do I think that there are probably some people in this mob that need to get out of their country? I do. There probably are. But I don't think it's 17,000 people.
Yeah.
And let's say there's 10%. Let's just say 10% of 17,000 are bad people. Isn't that too much, CV? I mean, for God's sakes, how are we going to check all them? Are you telling me that these people have their history, have their license, have all their information? No, so you're not going to know who the hell they are. How do you figure out who they are, whose children are who, and whether or not they should be granted asylum? And don't forget, asylum is a case-by-case situation.
Right.
When a person is granted asylum, they are granted asylum either because of religious persecution, or because of denomination, or just based on the fact that they've been ran out of their country and they can no longer survive there.
Yeah.
And that has to be weighed out by our government and our security, our police officials, to figure out who the hell they are. And there's no way you can do that with 17,000 people.
Right. And Trump said in one of his rallies, I'm one of those rare people who listen to all of Trump's rallies because I want to hear what he has to say. Because, even though he repeats himself a lot from rally to rally, each one is a little bit different. And sometimes he sheds light on things that you wouldn't expect. And he said, there's not enough judges in the country to weed through all these asylum requests. It takes years and years. In the meantime, they request asylum, but they still have to let them in, and they're given a number and they have to wait, and they may wait years before they even hear their case. So it's a long process. It doesn't make any sense, and frankly, it doesn't work. And Trump's policy, or proposed policy, is extreme vetting, and it's all about not letting anybody in unless you know who they are and what they want. If you can't tell who they are, if they don't have any public records, and most of them don't, they're coming from third world countries where they don't even have adequate computer systems, not even adequate filing systems.
No, and if they're seeking asylum, well, the Mexican government is responsible for taking them in.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to take them in, they're responsible for turning them back. See, that's the thing here. If they don't want them, they don't have a right to say, you can march through our country as long as you're going towards the United States of America. They have no right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the issue, I think, and what Trump should do is possibly pull out of this NAFTA deal and say, forget it, it's off the table, because that was the only thing he had over Mexico's head that will make them put a stop to this madness. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have a situation on the southern border that's not going to be a good one. It might be good for the Republican Party as far as optics go for the midterms, but you might also have some very dangerous people getting through. We know that some of them will get through.
Well, I don't think it's a NAFTA deal anymore. I think Trump pulled out of that a long time ago. I think he made a separate deal with Mexico and a separate deal with Canada. And it's no longer called NAFTA. He's calling it something else. I can't remember.
Right. It's not. It's not called NAFTA anymore, but it pretty much is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There are a few tweaks. So you get that off the table and you tell them, listen, that's done. You guys screwed me.
And Mexico came up with this half-hearted attempt to stop them at the gate on Mexico's southern border. And it was really a half-assed, half-hearted attempt to stop them. They didn't really try. And the crowds just pushed through these little gates and these little barricades. Did you see them? They were about waist high.
They weren't even they were just they were just kicking them over.
They look like the kind of things that you chain your bike to
right.
in front of a movie theater.
It's like Mexico's wall.
Yeah. It's all a big joke, and we know that it's, again, for the optics, and I think it wasn't working for the Democrats, so now they're trying to take that off the front page. And I would like to see them try to get in, because Trump says there's no way in hell they're getting in here. He says we're going to do anything we have to do. And Mike Pompeo said the same thing, and Vice President Pence said the same thing. He says they're not getting in here. We're going to do everything we have to do, but we're preventing them from getting in.
Well, here's a question. I don't know if you know this. How far away are they from the actual border? Right now?
I don't even know. I wish that they would show it on a map and show on Doppler radar like you do a hurricane. Okay, well, they're coming up this way.
Did you see the meme? Because there is a hurricane.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you posted that. That was funny.
It's like,
and it's true. It's called Willa or something.
Yeah, we hope Willa hits at the right time.
Willa or Willie? She not.
Yeah, I mean, not to be insensitive, man, but get some drones over there.
For
God's sakes.
There were times in crucial battles in many wars when an act of God did happen, and did prevent things like when the Nazis were trying to invade Russia, and this really cold weather came in, just froze them all to their spot, and they were just And there was a few other occasions like that I can't seem to recall at the moment, but I remember hearing of it.
Well,
Like,
those dumbasses going into Russia didn't expect that.
yep,
It's fucking Russia, for God's sakes.
I know. No, but there were a couple of others I just can't remember right now,
I
but I wish I
I
could look
know
it
it.
up.
I know what you're saying. And then the optics will be, oh, Trump.
Yeah, it was
You know,
global warming.
right? It's he sent that hurricane out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all President Trump.
because he reduced regulations, and now that the global warming happened and created a hurricane and hurt poor innocent asylum seekers.
Well, the last time that there was a hurricane in North Carolina, which they're still recovering from, and
Yeah.
it's pretty bad over there.
Yeah.
But there were actually people writing in the Washington Post that Trump is part of the problem, was the reason that this hurricane was so large.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you morons, do you not understand that there were 2 hurricanes under Barack Obama that were bigger than that?
Yeah.
Like, it's just some of the idiocy from the left is just, it's too much for me.
On the other hand, there's a sizable portion of the population that believes that a zombie apocalypse is going to happen someday.
Right. Well, it already has started happening. It's called Antifa.
Oh, it's called the Democrat Party. It's called the mob.
Democrats. Right. Yeah, they're the zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
Yes. Meh, meh, meh.
Oh boy.
It's everything. The other thing I wanted to discuss it's not so much of an important story, but it has to do with the Me Too movement, and I want to call it #HeToo, because there is a gentleman coming out that says that Senator Cory Booker actually assaulted him.
That pervert.
Now, this is a number of years ago. This gentleman said that Cory Booker actually sexually assaulted him. Now, I'll get into the details in a little bit, but we should believe the victim, right, CV?
In this case, I actually do believe the victim.
No, but I'm saying, according to Democrat logic.
Well, he's not a woman, so they might have a little bit of a loophole to get out of this one. It's not a woman, so it's okay not to believe him.
But he's gay.
I know, but he's still not a woman, technically.
But he's gay. I mean, that's part of their wheelhouse, isn't it?
I don't know.
I mean, shouldn't they believe the gay guy? Or are they turning on the gay folks now?
I don't know. Statistically, are gay people more truthful than straight people?
According to the Democrats, yes.
Yeah, they're heroes because they came. if they come out, they're a hero, greater than our vets.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, if you're a transgendering turncoat,
yeah,
you get free of treason charges, just like Obama did with Manning, Chelsea Manning.
Right.
You get let out.
But if you're a gay conservative who supports Trump, now what's the expression for that one? Because I know that they have an expression for black conservatives. They call them Uncle Toms. What do they call gay people who are conservatives? Uncle Moms?
I don't know. We have a lot of gay conservative guests that come on our program, and I'm going to have to ask them sometime what they call them. If there is a term, I do know that when you're a conservative Hispanic, they call you Tio Tomas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for Uncle Tom, but in Spanish. And if you are an Arabic conservative, they call you Uncle Tamir.
Okay. I'm not up on all that.
Yeah, that's just some information really important stuff that we're telling the listeners out there.
Yeah.
Just in case you want to slight any conservative Muslims, you call them Tio Tamir. So
okay.
Tio Tomas for the Hispanic and Uncle Tamir for the Arabic or Muslim. But the point is with Cory Booker, he has a history of sexual assault.
Yeah.
And this is just a new one that he's been accused of. Remember?
Well, it's a new slant, and we didn't know that he swung both ways.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did know that?
Oh, yeah, I knew he was gay.
All right.
I knew he was gay when I first saw him speak. I was like, that dude's gay. I knew that man was gay. I can see. I can read chapter and verse. I knew he was gay.
Wait, what did he call himself? He called himself some gladiator. I can't remember.
This is my Spartacus moment.
Oh yeah, Spartacus.
Now that's the way I'm going to make Cory Booker speak. But in high school, he molested some girl.
Yeah.
He groped her breast.
Yeah.
And now you have this gentleman coming out and saying that Cory Booker sexually assaulted him. So I'm inclined to believe this guy because
does he have any
a history with sexual assault?
But does he have any corroborating evidence, like the kind of which Ford did not have?
Yeah, you see, he doesn't. So there's really none of that going on right now. I mean, this is
all right. Well, hey, look, you know what? If you could play that game.
Yeah, and don't forget, you're only going to see so much of this. The media is not covering this story. And here's the other thing. You want to know the interesting thing about this?
It's all interesting.
The gentleman that's accusing Cory Booker of this deed, his Twitter was banned. His Twitter has been taken down. Funny. Mm-hmm. Funny how that works, right?
Yeah. Well, I know I'm shadow banned on Twitter, and you have people on Twitter who are, calling for violence, and their accounts are, have check marks next to them. But I don't even get a check mark. I'm just shadow banned. I've never called for violence.
Oh, they'll get you for anything.
I thought I lost you for a second.
They'll get you for anything if you're a conservative. I've seen it happen to a few good friends of mine, and it's happened to me too. But the thing is, this guy gets banned by Twitter. Cory Booker doesn't get touched for actually assaulting this guy, and this is how the media works. This is how social media works, and this is how the media works.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, CV, if we're talking about Twitter, Hamas has a checkmark Twitter page. So that just goes to show you where we're going with all this. It's really sick stuff.
Radio personalities and TV personalities have these green check marks, and movie stars and stuff like that. And whereas you and I and Brian are not, nearly as famous as some of those, we're still on a radio station. How come we don't get check marks?
You know what? I've tried to get it before.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they just have never responded to me.
I know. They just.
And all you need for a check mark is to be able to provide them with something from. We're on a CBS affiliate for anyone listening out there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, and all we have to do is provide that to them, and they're supposed to provide us with a check mark. So
we should try again. But I give up with Twitter. I never really go on there because I'm so fed up with them.
I only retweet things, and I just do it for our show. I mean, I don't really go on there either.
The only time I go on there is when I want to send a message to somebody that I saw on TV or the radio that happens to have a Twitter account, and I can get a message across that way. Other than that, there's no point.
But listen, awesome job. We got another good show coming up for everybody this week. I don't have a list of all the guests with me right now, but trust me, they're going to be very awesome. And in the coming up weeks, we have some really good guests coming up. We have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, Alveda King, coming on by with us. And she's a fantastic, fantastic woman, and we can't wait to talk to her. We also have somebody from the Dan Bongino show coming on. His name's Matt Palumbo, and he's got a book that he actually released with Dan Bongino. He's going to be coming on the program as well, and so many other good guests. So everybody listen to us, and the way you do that is on Sundays from 3 to 5 p.m. on 949newsnow.com. You can listen there, and you can also find us on the following podcast, which is a podcast of the terrestrial show on FreedomOnDeck.com.
Right.
usually on the following Monday.
And on
So that-
FreedomOnDeck.com, it has all the links to the Facebook page, the Twitter page, and all of
Correct. So don't forget, it's 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on 949newsnow.com. That's the way you listen to Freedom on Deck, and check out all our stuff like CV said. And we hope to have you there on Sunday. CV, I'll talk to you this Sunday afternoon, brother.
that. Cheers.
Take care.